Alright, morning everybody. I figured I'd show you a couple of projects I've been working on in the driveway. Let's start with the four-wheel drive. This is my early 68 four-wheel drive. I bought it with no motor, the old bias ply Humvee tires on it, no bed. Well, I had a crappy homemade flatbed on it. I put a cab floor in it, rocker panels, cab corners, and I had to patch a spot in the door. The bed came out of Quincy, Illinois. Bumpers off a square body, which actually fits it pretty good. This is an early 67, 68 bed. Surprisingly enough, still has a good wood floor in it. I don't think it's original because these boards I don't think were all this wide factory. But I'll take it. Not a bad deal. $200 for the flatbed, or for this bed out of Quincy. Got a little bit of rot above the wheel wells. Still got to fix those. But all in all, still really solid truck. Not bad for having to buy a bed and put a motor in it and tires. I would have liked to kept put an original radio in it, but somebody cut the dash up, so I went ahead and put that one in. Top, no rust in that. A little bit of a bubble over there on the passenger side, but I've already gone through and recocked all the drip edge on the top. Still has the closed knuckle axles in the front. Axle $350 from I think it was 74, 75. Put a Hydro Boost from a 2002 Chevy on it, and I put power steering in it. That was a trick for a 68 because you have to do little spacers, which I need to go and weld them in to make the gap for the edge of the box to fit in. I drive this one quite a bit, so. And this is my other one I just picked up not too long ago. Another 68, but this is a standard 68 with the marker lights on the front and the rear, which the four-wheel drive does not have. So that's why I'm assuming it's a early 68. This one is all original. I pulled the motor out because it was a grease ball. It had a bad clutch. 250 straight 6, 3 on the tree. All standard, no power brakes, no power steering. Needs a windshield. I have the other original door, but somebody ripped out the top hinge somehow. So I think I'm going to take this heavy truck door, because this one came off like a C50, because the front fenders for the C50 come through here. That's why they're notched. So I'm gonna probably cannibalize this door to fix the other door. Both bed sides are shot. Factory rear bumper. Never liked it because what they do is this right here. You back into something and they get pushed up into the bed. This bed side's a little worse than the other side. And the floor is shot. The only good wood underneath this bed is right here in the center underneath the plate. I've got a spare hood because the one over here's got a big old dent right up here in the front. Got a crease right there. Sorry about the early. It's kind of early out here, so the sun's not helping anything. But I gotta do bed sides, rocker panels both sides, cab corners both sides, and cab floor. As you can see, she's got some rot in this back brace really bad. All across the floor there. And you got a lot of daylight showing through over there. So I don't mind doing cab floor, because then you know everything's in good shape afterwards. Like you got rot through there. You see daylight pretty good. I have to do a small patch up in the upper section. It's a got the radio delete still in it. Not a bad truck. I just finished up doing all new gaskets in the engine. Everything looked good on the inside, internals of the engine. So I'm gonna put the straight 6 back in this hopefully today. For the 4-wheel drive, I've got the 350 in it. The heads are shot, so she's burning oil, leaking in, and then she rattles pretty good when she's cold out. So I went and picked up a 283 from 1965. Put all new gaskets in it, checked it out. The internals look good on that, so I think I'm going to swap that this week too, because we actually got a warm spell. It's supposed to be, I think 54 today. Last week on Tuesday, it was 22, I think. So I'll take it. I'll try swapping motors. 2 motors in the next couple days, which are easy to do. Love doing these motors. But I'll try to keep you updated, or do a short little video of me dropping the straight 6 in and pulling the 350 out, putting the 283 in. I forgot to show you. I want to check this out. Guy dropped this truck off. Said, hey, the back of my cab, the bed is touching my cab. Yeah? Wanted to know if I could do anything about it. No. Because it's not only right there, it's in the top. And then it carries on through here. It goes all the way up into here, through there, all the way through there, up into here. I mean, I'm not pushing hard. It's just let's keep your frames clean. That's the way these late 2000 or early 2000 and 2000s are. They're just, it's either back here or up in the front where the frame curves down around for the front cab mounts. I don't know why the steel is like that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Gotta get out of here before I get ran over. I just put a new clutch on these gaskets. I started sandblasting, but a little bit too much work. Biggest thing is when you're doing a clutch, make sure your alignment tool will slide in and out nice and easy. Make sure there's plenty of lube on it. Same with lubing up the input shaft on the transmission. Make sure there's a little bit of grease on the very first part of the shaft. It goes in the input bearing on the crank. And then make sure you lube up behind the throwout bearing and lube the throwout bearing a little bit. But make sure there's plenty of lube. Not a whole lot, because then it just gets stuck up on the clutch disc. Not if that had been a plastic fan, that'd have been toast. At least it's a decent day out to do this. A lot of people would probably say, why don't you leave the fan off? Because I didn't want to. Felt like putting it on. What's nice with these older motors and older vehicles is there's not a lot of plastic, so you don't have to be real gentle with them. There's no plastic connectors going to the heater core or anything like that. You can be a little bit more rough with them, trying to get them lined up, and you don't have to worry so much about it. believe how many people stop by here every day asking if the 4-wheel drive's for sale or the C10's for sale. I used to do, these are my first old styles. I used to do square bodies all the time. Works out a little bit better if you got a helper. Right now my helper's in junior, no, he's a sophomore in high school. They don't get out of school today till 1:30. But I've done a lot of this by myself or with my brother over the years. Just gotta get it lined up. Figured it'd be a little bit easier than this with a straight 6. Just wanting to fight a little. The transmission needs to come up a little bit. There it goes. Oh, pain in it. Just about there. There it is. Now it's all the way in. Oh crap. Look at that clutch ball I got put on there. I can probably put a couple bolts in the bell housing and then pick the motor back up and swing off the side. The sunshine ain't probably helping nothing. Like right now, I've got to get this ball, or this clutch crossover up on this ball. That's the fun, tricky part, because usually you can take the nut off its backside. Usually they don't want to come loose, they'll just spin. Alright, I'll get a little bit further and I'll catch you guys up. Alright, I got the clutch crossover on. Got one motor mount bolt started. Do this get this last one started and tighten them up. I'll show you this real quick. I've had this chain since I worked at c10, working on tractors. Best engine chain that I have seen and come up with. You got a chain hook back here, and up here on the front, use this slip hook to go for your motor mount or wherever. Use this other hook right on there, like a link away, and then you can take all this slack out of it and adjust it to where you need to be. And you got all this slack. You got a nice big engine hoist chain, and you can use it for anything. I've used it on 5.9 Cummins. It's probably a good 6-foot chain, but I love this engine chain. Use it on just about anything. Fixing this truck for my son to drive to high school, because he's got 2 more classes for driver's ed, and then he can drive. But I can't see spending money on a newer vehicle when they're going to be supposedly banned in a couple of years. These whole EV cars, that's kind of a cool novelty, but real world application, you're really going to drive a car that has to charge for 8 hours and you can only go like 350, 400 miles on vacation. You're going to drive from, just figure from here, southeast Iowa, we went down to Louisiana, and it was 12, 13-hour trip? No. It'd take you forever. You might as well add another week and a half on your damn trip. Still have to rebuild the carburetor on this one. Hopefully here shortly, when I get the transmission bolts in, the motor mount bolts in, the starter on, I'll go ahead and put the alternator on, and hook up the throttle, and hook up the ignition. Hopefully yet, just maybe an hour or two, start on the carburetor. When I got this truck, it had a new starter, new carburetor, fuel pump. The guy I got it from, he basically bought it, put it in his shed. That was 2 years ago. He bought it from another guy here in town, and I think it had sat for another year or two before that, so maybe a total of 4 to 5 years. I did have it running. That's how I got it up here in the driveway. I drove it up here. Went to go use the original starter. I didn't put the new one on right off the bat. Couldn't get it to do anything. pulled the old starter off, and we ended up having to change the nose cone, the cast iron nose cones on it, because it was slightly different. So I had to put the old one back on, the old nose cone on a new starter. Well, when we took the old starter apart, the guts just fell apart. It was kind of impressive. I've never seen one that destroyed. Like I said, fixing this one for the boy to drive to school. He's wanting to find the squirrel body. Tried telling him he'll be the coolest kid in school once this thing's done. Well, back when I went to school, he would have been the coolest kid in school. Brake fluid. Yeah, the whole EV car thing, where they've got 300 to 400 mile range on them one way. I don't know. To me, that almost sounds like they're trying to control people's movements and everything. The way they're pushing so hard for it and everything, something doesn't feel right about it. I put in a new water pump as well, new thermostat. Had to weld up the bottom of the exhaust manifold because for some reason the straight sixes, they always seem to bulge out right here at the bottom between 2 and 3 cylinder. Don't know why. I just welded it up, see if it'll hold. Cheaper than spending another $250. That was $250 was a cheap exhaust manifold, so I've already bought everything for the brakes, the shocks. Hopefully here in another month or so I'll be able to get the cab floor, the bed sides, and rockers, cab corners, which that's not a cheap date there, but a factory C10 short bed, they don't come around every day, especially around here. Ones you find around here are, if you can find one, they're sunk up to the belly in dirt and just completely rotted out. I guess that's a Midwest thing, I suppose. very good spots to pick it up besides the front bolt here. And then you just have to wrap a chain around the intake and hopefully nothing messes up. Alright, I'll do a little bit more on this and I'll bring it back. Alright, it's been a little bit. I had to pick up a used battery down at the scrapyard. I went ahead and got some oil and oil filter for this. Get all this done, put on the negative terminal. And already put new oil and oil filter on it. Need to crank it over a little bit, get all the, without the carburetor on it, get all the oil where it needs to be. Crap. Gotta shorten this cable up. It had 2 red wires, but had 2 red wires, but I found a black wire, and it's a little bit long for what I'm going to do. Find the bolt for it. No, that's not true. Hey. Well, crank it over and get some oil running through it, and then we'll go through the carburetor. See if we can get it fired up. Alright, so here's the Chinese carburetor. It ran decent, but I still had to run the choke when I drove that truck up in the driveway, so I don't know if that was a bad intake gasket or what that was, but sorry, just about bet it's something to do with this carburetor. I'd much rather have the original. If I can't get this one to run right, I'm going to go ahead and get an actual original carburetor for that truck. Unfortunately, I don't have any 1-barrel carburetors. I've got all kinds of 2 barrels and 4-barrel carburetors. I just don't have any 1 barrels. Looks clean on the top. Don't look bad on the inside. A little bit of crap floating. Well, I guess I put it back together and see if it was see if the engine was doing that. So it don't look bad at all. ahead and threw the remote starter on it. Give her a little bit of gas and see how she likes it. That should be funny. Maybe she didn't like it. Getting any fuel yet. He's on. Maybe I'm not getting any spark. Coil's still loose. Forgot to tighten that up. Spark. Huh. Alright. Distributor, huh? Points are barely touching, if not. I feel like getting zapped, so I'm turning that key off. Much better. Must have moved the points when I pulled the distributor out and put the new vacuum advance on it. see what it does now. Still should have some gas in the carburetor, so, or residual in the intake. And then again, maybe not. Might be looking at getting a new fuel pump. I don't think I'm not getting any gas in the carburetor. Unless I need to put a hose clamp on the fuel pump. The hose is just a little bit loose, but I would think it'd be enough to pull it in. A little bit more gas down her throat, see what she does. And it's alive. Oh, it fell off. Oh, that little rubber plug. There is no exhaust on it because I have not. There's gas. I haven't gotten a chance to get the new pipe for it, so it is what it is for right now. What is smoking over? Oh, let's go ahead and get timing light and let's timer. See where she's at for timing, how far off it is. This piece of the timing light has to go up close as possible to the plug itself. And your negative, your positive, and then you just got to start it. Make sure none of your crap's going to be in the fan, which is always kind of a chore to do sometimes. Loosen up the distributor. Fuel pump leaking? Yep. Don't need that catching on fire. Distributor is loose, but they're snug it up a little bit more. turn the key on. That makes a big difference with the key on. Plus, me being stupid, I have to unplug the vacuum vents to make it do it right. This might be out just a little bit. Let's bring her back in. Well, there it is. I need to put the radiator in it. And then it'll be mobile till I can get floor pan and cab floor rockers, cab corners. Well, at least it runs a lot better than I did before. Before you had to keep it revved up. And the clutch was so bad it would slip really. I mean, just moving it from the driveway up to here, the edge of the road up to here is. You probably start it 4 or 5 times. You have to keep it revved up, and then it would just die, and your choke would have to be on. But I'd say that was a pretty good success. Just need to tighten up the distributor and put the radiator in it. It should be mobile again. Alright, well, that's the end of this video, I guess. Thanks, guys.